Hi, and welcome to the Tarot&Talks YouTube channel. In this video, as per title, I would love to offer my opinions on the topic that Sticks Hex and Hammer 666 had recently touched upon during one of his live streams. To preface this video, I would love to say that I'm a big fan of Sticks. I have been watching his content since like 2016, maybe even 2015, I'm not sure. 2016 for sure. I think that his content is quite interesting. His insights are extremely intelligent. I watch him daily. I'm a big fan. As for myself, I am a China specialist, at least in some capacity. I have been studying China and Chinese politics, culture, economics, etc. for 6 years, 4 years in my bachelor's program and 2 years in a master's program. During my bachelor's, I also lived in China for a year. I obviously speak Chinese, although it's not perfect. Unfortunately, I couldn't master the language. Still, I speak some of it, and of course, I have been dealing with Chinese businesses, large government corporations, and small businesses alike. So the topic that Styx touched upon during one of his recent live streams is the acquisition of land by Chinese companies in Florida. Styx a little bit criticized Ron DeSantis on his ideas of not allowing Chinese businesses to purchase the land in Florida, and Styx, I guess, didn't take his concerns seriously, saying that like Ron DeSantis should be happy that the Chinese are investing in Florida because, well, it shows that Florida, in the eyes of China, is growing, that Florida is a good place for investment in eyes of the Chinese businessmen, which kind of increases the general positive view that Florida has in the eyes of the world, of the US, of other countries, and of many businessmen, etc. And I kind of agree with that. And Six also had compared it. I'm sorry, English not my first language. Compared it to the Japan in the 80s and 90s when it was rising, and the concerns that the American public and politicians and economists had about the Japan's rise, that like Japan will buy out the US, etc. And first of all, I would love to start that I, to an extent, agree with Sticks that if the Chinese are invested in Florida, I think that it is, of course, because they deem Florida a good place for investment. They see that Florida is prospering, that it's rising, that it's doing better than many other states of the United States. So, of course, they will be investing there. The Chinese, they aren't dumb. They can be quite good with their economic decisions, especially when they are able to make these decisions free without having to kowtow to the government. So yeah, in that regard, Six is correct. But I think that to compare that situation to the Japanese situation in the late 20th century is not quite so correct, because the Japanese situation and the buyouts that were happening with the Japanese businesses in the US during that time are different because, well, Japan is not communist. Japan, although it's not fully democratic in the Western sense, still is more democratic, is more like liberal, classically liberal, than China, even in its heyday of the early 2000s until Xi Jinping came to power. And the buyouts from the Japanese, the acquisition of land and property by the Japanese in the USA, it still happened from the private Japanese businessmen. Whereas in China, yes, of course, you do have businesses. You have like businessmen, you have your Jack Ma and all of these like other people. You have your Tencent, your Huawei, your whatever. But it is important to always remember that Chinese businesses, down to even small businesses, are all under the control of the Communist Party. And especially the larger you get, and if you have the money to acquire land in the US, which is quite expensive, the larger you get, the more close attention is paid to your business and to you personally. And here I would love to offer my own experience. So, uh, on one of my last places of work, we cooperated, my company that I worked for cooperated with a Chinese company, like a PR company, a social media company, small scale one. They were located in Shanghai. And during one of the talks that we had, it was a meeting simply between the company that I work for and that company, like nobody else was present. And it was about us discussing the future of our social media strategy. And I wasn't the one who prepared the presentation, but our higher ups prepared a presentation that included a map that had one of the regions that China deems to be owned by China, somewhere near India. They had this part of the country uh, be shown as a part of India. And you cannot imagine the amount of anger that followed from the Chinese side. They even wanted to stop talking to us. And they had, even at their quite small scale level, they had a party member, of course, be, how do I say it, be put from the Communist Party of Shanghai city uh, to this company. So the Communist Party has its own like branches, of course, in each city, in each province, in each even county, in each village, whatever. And they send out party members to even small scale companies. So even if your company is like a small business, still you have to have a party member that will kind of politically guide your company. And like they were very angry with us, and we had to apologize, of course. Like I didn't agree with the apologizing, but like we had to continue doing business with them at that point in time. And why did I bring up that story? I brought this story up because it is important to understand that every company in China is under control of the Communist Party of China. Every company, every businessman in China, they of course are free to make money. They are free to get rich, but as long as they are under the influence of the CCP, and they will forever be under such influence. And it is also important to understand that everything that this company owns is actually owned by the CCP, and it can be taken at any time by the CCP. So that's why I agree actually with Ron DeSantis on his platform of not allowing the Chinese businessmen or businesses, like not maybe businessmen, just the businesses, the companies, buy any land in Florida. And I think that not 1 acre, inch, foot of land, whatever, should be sold to the Chinese businessman in America, because every piece of land, every property, everything that's been bought by the Chinese businessman, Chinese businesses, whatever, is actually under the control of the CCP, because these businessmen, they know that their lives, their money, everything, it's owned by the party. And if they will not kowtow to the party, follow the party line, it will be taken. And the Chinese Communist Party, like, it's not being cute with their businessmen. If a businessman or a business is going against the party crushes them without any hesitation. Like, look at Jack Ma and what happened to him, what, last year, when he just a little bit strayed away from the party line and he was disappeared for like months, a couple of months, and then he returned and he was like just repeating the party lines, just repeating the party propaganda. Jack Ma is one of the most famous people on this planet, one of the most rich people on this planet. And even he and his company, they could not stray away far from the party line. They could not, be independent. So in this case, once again, that's why I think that Ron DeSantis is right. In this regard, everything that is owned by the Chinese businesses is actually owned by the party. And if the party wants to take it and use it for their causes, they will take it. And the businesses, they won't have any other way to act, to deal with, but to just, okay, I give up, I concur, I give you everything. Because once again, the businesses are run by the people, and people know that if they will go against the party, they will be sent to gulags, to concentration camps. Their family can be hurt, their children can be hurt, their money will be taken. And even if they go to America, to Canada, especially Canada, there are riots in these countries. There are CCP people in these countries. And they can still be reached out to, they can still be hurt, they can still be killed, even if that's what it's going to take, if the party wills. Nobody really wants to go against the party. And so in such a situation, I don't think that in America it should be allowed that the Chinese businessmen and businesses and entities should be able to acquire any land, any property, because otherwise it's a threat to the national security. Now, that's a real threat to the national security, not the January 6th, not everything, but this is a real threat. And the Chinese businesses, the Chinese officials, the Chinese entities, they already buy out a lot of land in the US, especially in Texas, that I've heard of. So like the process have already started, and like it's not a good one. And I think that like it should be stopped. And I think that the fact that Florida government tries to stop it, I think that it's actually a good thing. So that's like basically my idea, my opinion on Styx's opinion about Ron DeSantis stopping Chinese businessmen from acquiring property and land in Florida. And it's just an impromptu video, as you may see. I don't have a script, I don't have anything. I just like watched the live stream and I was like, no, I cannot just sit silently. And I hope if Styx watches this video, he understands that it's a friendly video. It's not a negativity filled video. It's not like unreasonable criticism. It's just my opinion that a person who worked with China and who dealt with China, I couldn't just sit silently. And if Styx wants to share his opinions about my video, I am free to talk about it. And in general, if you found this video to be interesting, if you agree or disagree, please leave your comments down below, leave your opinions down below, and let's talk about it, because I would love to talk about this topic also with all of you. So thank you for watching my video. If you're interested, I can maybe dive deeper into this topic, and thanks. Bye, see you in the next video.